Right. Good afternoon, Joriz. First of all, how are you doing? Long time no see.
Yeah, I'm doing fine, doing great. Yeah, thank you.
Good.
How about you?
Yeah. Well, getting over the disappointment, obviously, of the Euro 2020. You know, football's going to
Yeah.
Rome.
Let's not go there.
Well, it was a bit of a win-win for the Capaldis, of course. For my cousins,
Yeah.
particularly my cousins down south. It was, they really didn't mind who won. I suspect. But some of them, the next day were putting posts on Facebook, about being Italian and
Yeah.
how good it was for Italy. But I don't know. I thought England were probably the sort of form team in the tournament, But having said that, for Italy to get past Belgium and then Spain, that's fair play to them.
That's good.
Yeah.
But anyway, how about Scottish football?
Well, obviously, didn't do too well, but got the draw against England. Which is which I was hoping that England would win, so that then Scotland could be the only team that were unbeaten against England.
Oh yeah. So there's a bit of a rivalry between Scotland and England, football-wise, like we have with the Germans.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it goes back, centuries old, doesn't it? The England-Scotland rivalry. Scotland very proud of the fact that, for example, the Romans never managed to invade Scotland, did they? Or did they? No. They did come to Scotland, but they certainly they had huge problems, didn't they? The Romans in Scotland, if I remember.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I
know they've been over England, but how far?
No. They did come to Scotland, right enough, but it was always seen as a difficult place to sort of govern. Hence Hadrian's Wall.
Oh yeah.
To try and keep the Scots out. Now, I seem to remember the last time I spoke to you was probably to do with the tyre tracks that we saw on the Saturday in a photograph, a flyover photograph, showing where Thomas Sawinski would have gone off the road and back on the road. And then, of course, yesterday we get news that the Court of Appeals are actually going to be sort of giving their decision, not just on the Thomas Sawinski thing, but on the whole appeal itself.
Yeah, that's what I understood from all the messages in the community, that's probably the case, because otherwise that they wouldn't announce it that way.
Yeah.
The PDF file. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. What I was going to ask you was, can you remember, was it not around about this time that people were speculating that the decision from the Court of Appeals would be imminent even before the Thomas Sawinski request for the remand? I seem to remember this sort of time was round about when people thought they were going to give their decision anyway. Yeah.
Well, if you look at the document itself, it is such a long time that they stalled it altogether. I saw someone commenting on a post on Twitter saying that it's the only case on that PDF file that has 2017. All others are later.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, there's something not going right there. So
yeah, I mean, it was something that was explained to me that it would probably, although Kathleen Zellner would have wanted things to have moved a lot quicker, the fact that she had to keep going back to the Court of Appeals and go back to Sukrowicz and back and forth and back and forth, but each remand of the case, and there were two, and if this had been remanded, this would have been a third. Even just the case being remanded is like a win for Kathleen Zellner, despite what Angela Sukrowicz decides, is what I was led to believe. Are you the same opinion? She's
just stacking up.
Yes,
I think so too.
That's right. Yeah, but no, it's one of the things I've always thought about is that Kathleen Zellner tells us that, you know, she's developed, and we can see that a mountain of evidence. But back in 1985, well, back in 2003, the thing that actually cleared Steve was something as minuscule as the root of a hair. Yeah, you know, and then you contrast that to you know, what's going to be the 2021 equivalent of that hair, and I would challenge anybody to try and list everything that Kathleen Zellner has put forward in her various motions, you know, to say, you know, this is why Stephen Avery needs a, you know, a makeover, a do-over, or whatever, you know, an evidentiary hearing, a trial. I mean, what would be your sort of top of the list of 2021 hair roots?
The hair roots.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many. There's mainly the bones given back. That's a huge one for me.
Yeah.
That's just destruction of evidence. The CD, the VDCD.
Yeah.
The big one. Also the hoodlet swap. That's clearly, like, you know, the quantities are not in order. That's and if that's planted, because that's, you know, what you can get out of that, then more of evidence is. So yeah. I mean, the thing that basically the COA has three options, right? The retrial, the rejection, or evidentiary hearing. Yeah. So the only thing I'm a bit worried about, because that's what Kathleen Zellner told in her video, that part of that there can be some argument made that could be procedurally barred. Mm-hmm. But if that happens, then you know, the state of Wisconsin is so closed, narrow-minded, off the charts that that's just mind-blowing. That would be, in my opinion.
I think from what certainly from what I've seen of Judge Paul Riley, who's been the one that's remanded the case back twice, his tone of voice, if you like, in remanding it, particularly the second time, seemed like he was getting a bit fed up of this case, you know, and that something needed to be put right. And I discovered that Judge Paul Riley has actually had a situation in Sheboygan in the past where a judge was deciding that a prosecutor should prosecute a woman, you know, some sort of a minor assault charge. And the judge was insisting that the prosecutor prosecuted, even though the prosecutor himself didn't want to prosecute, just wanted to drop the charges, you know. and so Paul Riley has actually had incidences with judges, these district you know, district judges in Sheboygan, of which I think there's 5, and Sukowicz is one of those 5. He's had that before, where he's had to reprimand a judge for, you know, wanting to be a district attorney.
Oh yeah.
It does seem bizarre, doesn't it? You know, you've got these judges, they've got a clearly defined role, and yet they want to somehow show the prosecutors how to do their job.
Yeah.
maybe because they were prosecutors themselves, they just can't help but be these backseat drivers. But
that's just part of the system, right? They want to show off. And,
But yeah, going back to, first of all, the obviously the handing back of the bones. I mean, what kind of poetic justice is it that CASO actually document giving back the bones? But then when Kirby and Kathleen Zellner asked for a copy of the CASO report, Mark Wiegert leaves out the couple of pages at the back.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that is really if that's the one that is the big one, if you like, you know, and I think it is, you know, this defying of Willis's state statute a state statute that was written by Norm Gahn. The fact that they've got together and thought this was appropriate, you know, and it was all overseen by Mark Wiegert, you know, I can't see any procedural bar helping them on that one.
And it's also clear they gave back the bones, of course, that were specified as humans by Eisenberg, but they also gave back, you know, the possible human bones, just in case, because, you know, just in case somebody might see them as human, and then they get tested, you know.
Yes,
it's crazy. They just took every precaution in that, giving back the bones.
Yeah. And also we know that in the now it was another case involving somebody with a Polish name. I think it was Wierski. The Wierski case recently within the Wisconsin court system is the one where I think it was the Supreme Court decided that, you know, you cannot have a system where, you know, the prosecutor can hide and the defense attorneys need to seek. And I think that's got huge implications when it comes to the VLCD, doesn't it?
Oh, sure, yeah, same thing. They just hide it. I don't understand how it not works together, you know. Oh, we were talking about that with Jerry Buting the other day, that it's such a mentality based on getting someone convicted, you know, like it's a game. Seeking justice is not the game. Seeking a conviction is a game. So that's just sickening that it works that way. And they try to play, no, we're not sharing that with you. Yeah, because, you know, it would destroy our case. I mean, the bottom line there, I think surely it's the fact that you've got, as you say, a system which is completely wrong, whereby the police and the district attorney, it's like one of the same entity, isn't it? Yeah. You know, and it shouldn't be like that. And I know for a fact that that's not the case in the Netherlands, is it? No. It's different. You don't have that sort of closeness of the prosecutor and the law enforcement. And I mean, it's just so obvious looking from the outside that you're going to end up with Brady violations all over the place if it's up to the prosecution to decide what to hand over. And I mean, if they don't hand it over, how are the defense supposed to know about it? Well, they can't possibly know about it, can they? No, they can't. You know, and also the timing of handing things over is also very critical, right? Yeah. They've been sitting on evidence for like a whole year, and then just a month before the trial, they give evidence. That's so obviously like you can't do anything about it, because you know. Yeah. I mean, you have to do your investigative work in a week. Yeah. For me, the really callous thing was to describe, you know, to try and get that stipulation that it was Brendan's computer and there was nothing of evidentiary value. Yeah. You know, that's pretty low. So we've already discussed Thomas Sawinski, but really another one that sticks out for me is the phone call exchange between Bob, Scott Taddick, and Stephen Avery. You know, do you think, because that has been that was in Kathleen Zellner's filing motion? Yeah. You know, I mean, what are your thoughts about that whole phone call? You know, the bizarreness of, you know, they both said, Bobby said that Teresa left. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that's clear as day to me. Well, when you present that as evidence, then it's all hearsay, and you know, but I don't know. To me, that is obvious that that's the case, that she left. I don't want to seem as if I'm bashing Barb here, but I don't think Barb did herself any favors when she complains to Steve about the fact that, you know, that Bobby has a family to worry about. It's almost like pleading with Steve to get Kathleen Zellner to back off, you know, stop looking at Bobby because he's got a family to worry about. And my question would be, well, but if Bobby didn't do anything, what is there to worry about? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's so hard to imagine what it does to family tensions and all that. This case is so huge as it is itself that we cannot grasp, the pressure that it puts on them, and they're not like, very, as I see it, very sophisticated on emotional level to keep talking to each other.
Yes.
They may, grasp to the fighting methods further, and even if that's online, but that's okay. That's how they are. But I don't know. It's really hard to say that someone did something wrong in there. They're just the people they are.
Yes, yeah, indeed.
But I could very well be wrong. So to say, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, certainly I've had a couple of exchanges recently with people that are very concerned about Bobby's Chevrolet Blazer, but the one that I've heard about is the one that was destroyed by fire before Teresa disappeared. But have you heard anything about the one that he had after Teresa disappeared? Also being apparently crushed at the salvage yard. I mean, I haven't been able to get much information about this, but apparently Steve is a bit concerned about it. And unfortunately, it really does only reflect badly on other people in the family other than Steve, that, that there is some sort of almost like an acceptance that, well, Steve is where he is. There's nothing anybody can do about it. He was trying to take down the sheriff of Manitrock. It's, as I was explaining to somebody that was across here for a barbecue on Sunday, I said, what you've got to bear in mind in this situation is that it would be the equivalent to the provost of Galashiels being accused, having his livelihood threatened, his retirement pension or whatever it was, being threatened by one of the Neds that live in one of the housing schemes. It was just never going to happen.
No, that's just power difference.
Yeah,
it's too big. Yeah.
So, looking forward then with our crystal ball. We've got a few items here that I think are sort of top of the list. What other ones are of interest to you? I'm thinking particularly Ryan's possession of the day planner.
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure about Kathleen's position on Ryan, because she's so obviously on Bobby. In the interview there. Yeah, I've talked to Eric the other day, and he said there may be a 50-50 chance, she's not really keen on going for Ryan, but more so trying to lure him out of the place to talk to law enforcement, because he might be involved in planting the RAF or something like that, that his involvement is just, as far as it goes to that, because he was part of the whole search crew and all.
Absolutely, yeah. Or maybe he did at some point have access to the RAV and obviously took that day planner. But why would he do that? Would you not then just destroy it? I mean, it's all very, very odd. But yes, I mean,
the day planner. It's very hard to grab. The timeline doesn't add up, because she's still at home in the day planner when she pings, and she's writing on it. There's an argument to say that day planner even never left her house.
Right. Okay.
There's a bit of discussion about it, right? So it's not like, but I've seen people mentioning that. I was like, okay, maybe she thought like, okay, I know that too, but I'll leave it for as it is, because it's still Danny as it is,
Okay. Then we've got obviously the phone call by Kevin Ramlow.
Yeah.
For me, the big thing there, well, two things. Colburn's not very quick at writing reports.
No.
And also that, you've got Scott Taddick sitting on that information, not wanting to know anything about this.
Yeah.
Which I think makes him very suspicious.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because getting Stephen convicted was the best day of his life.
Exactly. You know.
So
yeah.
Why would that be?
I have no idea. And I mean, he, you know, apparently he goes along regularly to visit Brendan, you know, as in some sort of show of, you know, support for Brendan. And yet, on the other hand, when this piece of information comes forward that could help him, he just wants to sit on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's mind-blowing, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
For me, though, my main problem with Bobby and Scott would be, what was their motive? If they just decided, you know, that they would, you know, would they just deliberately kill Teresa just because they knew that they could then plant evidence against Steve and get him, you know, get him back in jail? I mean, for me, it all boils down to the fact that, you know, the ones with the motive were Tom Kasurek and the upper echelons of the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department. I've never strayed from that opinion. I mean, it's, if you're looking for motive.
Yeah, the thing is that I've always thought about, okay, not Bobby, not Ryan. It may be good any suspects in the whole case, but there's also a hitman possible, you know, led by Kasurek, and just it would be easier to get rid of, you know. Well,
exactly.
They think that way, so why not?
Yes. I take it that you know, we were well, as Kathleen Zellner tweeted, you know, she's had a lot of leads as to who this old fella with the grey beard, about 6'4" is, 6 foot tall is. So
yeah,
you know,
she might have more information on who that is by now, because she said she would.
Yeah,
and she probably will have a lot more information than we know, because yesterday I read a post on Reddit, and all about the older tweets that she did, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. She clearly knows more than we know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I would suggest that whilst we might struggle to sort of list all of the mountain of evidence off the top of our heads, I bet she's got it all memorized.
Yeah,
you know, I bet she has. Is there anything else that you think might crop up as regards, you know, stuff in the motions? The Court of Appeals has looked at. I mean, I think we've basically covered the what I would consider to be the big, the big ones, you know. I mean, if as I say, if they're just going to give an opinion and they're not even going to remand the case back to Angela Sukovich, I was under the impression that when something gets remanded, it then means even if Sukovich denies it, the case goes forward with that new piece of evidence. So again, my suggestion would be that, you know, it looks like possibly the Court of Appeals have already decided, look, Kathleen, you had enough even before you got this Thomas Sawinski is just the icing on the cake of what you want.
Maybe it was her last push to get the COA to decide, you know, and regardless.
The last push without your shirt on.
Yeah, exactly. Leaving the prints there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So when
I really hope that something good comes out of this, and even not, you know, we have something to do tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Striking the pens, getting ready.
Exactly. Yes. I mean, typically these decisions are not published. Do they tend to be quite early on in the morning?
I honestly don't know.
I don't know.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
on Wednesday over there, and then we're into Thursday. So
yes,
it's the end of the day.
Yeah. But yes, it could be a late night for us if you're around tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it should be interesting reading. Just a couple of little things to mention as well. Your thoughts on the fact that a lot of states now, well, we've got 3 already, and I know from a post by Mark Godsey, who's the head of the Ohio Innocence Project, that states are starting now to look at the whole issue of lying to juveniles during interrogations. That looks very promising, doesn't it?
It's great. It's great that it's happening, because it sets, precedents and going. I hope every state turns around, and it's just crazy that it's possible. So it's good news.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also saw that the Innocence Project itself are getting an award. I'll have to do a video about this, but they're getting an award for services to liberty.
Oh.
In September sometime. So I'll do a little do a little thing about that. I've got an article that I'll post. But yeah, the big thing is going to be looking forward to tomorrow and getting our hands on the decision. I mean, as you quite rightly point out, this is going back to 2017. There's nothing else on that docket that goes back that far.
Oh.
And this is, as you say, it's a to use Steve Drizzen's term, it's a heater, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's a real heater. It'll be interesting to read through and see what, because apparently this isn't just Paul Riley that's making the decision.
No, it's a panel of judges, as I understood from the. So it was a per curiam decision, which was not up to the judges. So
per curiam, yeah. So you've got Neubauer and somebody Davis. Have I got that right?
I don't know the names exactly.
Millbilly was able to quote him straight off the top of his head. I'm sure it's somebody Davis is the, but probably not Mark Gundrum because of his.
No.
Although the interesting thing about Mark Gundrum was that I remember a long time back doing a video about Mark Gundrum, and just the fact that he suddenly flips from being this guy that's all over Steve and photoshops and all this, and invite him to come and talk to them and stand in ovation, sorry for what you've been through, and then in another part of Making a Murderer, he comes out with this, that whilst you mentally want to give him the benefit of the doubt, it's not possible to do that. And you're thinking, hold on a sec, you're supposed to be a top legislator,
Yeah.
And I did a rather critical video of this, and blimey, of all the people that should comment, although she deleted it, was actually one of Mark's daughters called Bernadette Gundrum actually commented on the video, and basically paraphrasing said, don't be so harsh on my dad. He was taken in like everybody else, because they were, weren't they? They were all sort of, I can't help thinking it was very much a political thing. As soon as Stephen Avery gets arrested, nobody wants to be on his side.
No, just in the beginning, I think, when everybody was all about the Avery project going on there, and it's like, it's politically a good thing to stay on his side for a bit.
Yeah.
But when the whole Teresa case happened, they start, I'm not burning my fingers on that to just stay politically behind him, because, I might lose my career, and they all start sitting on their plush and think like, okay.
Yeah. I know. It's
all alone.
Yeah. There isn't there at the end of, is it episode 2 of Making a Murderer, when Walt Kelly talks about the transformation from Stephen Avery the exonerated to Stephen Avery the accused, And he actually talks about the fact that the complete absence of any commentary, proper thoughtful commentary on this situation. And I thought, well, yeah, that's as you probably know, one of my biggest bugbears about this whole case is the shoddy media, I would say, the fact that they're just happy to go along with everything that's given to them. They just parrot it. There's no attempt to analyze anything that was presented, and then they just feed that to the public because they think that's what the public want to hear.
Yeah, it's a very tunnel vision case, and on the other hand, I think it's always hard to. Not that I'm coming up for law enforcement right now, but sure. I'm trying to figure out, the amount of resources they had, and they try to fit in things and leave out other things because they don't have time and money to do so. But still, even that, I think that tunnel vision is there. Yeah. So obvious. Yeah.
Anyway, listen, I'm going to let you crack on. I've got some stuff in the shed to sort out that I'm busy.
No walk with the dog.
I've done that this morning. Yeah, we were out about 7:30. So yeah, he's had his walk. He's actually I'm saying he's lying down here. He's fast asleep.
Okay, then you've done a few miles.
And what I did was I finished off at a pupil's house in Galashiels, but then Eunice came and picked up the dog, so that because usually I have to tie him up outside, but didn't really like the idea of doing that, particularly when it's if the sun comes out and it gets really hot. So I mean,
you had some hot days there, eh?
Yeah, I mean, there's been people concerned about taking dogs on walks, for the heat of exhaustion, but also even just on tarmac, it being too hot for the pads of the feet, So yeah, it's been incredibly hot. I think it's been over 30 a few times.
Whew.
Yeah, but anyway,
that's hot for your country.
Well, and
that would be 40 here.
I mean, I have struggled. I mean, as most of you know, I am designed for keeping warm in winter, not for keeping cool in summer.
Good one.
I am perfectly designed for keeping warm in winter. I am not designed for keeping cool in summer.
I remember that one.
Yeah, no, I have been feeling quite unwell at times, and it is just through the heat, trying to do stuff outside, and within a couple of minutes having to stop because I'm just like, wow, just out of breath. And,
it's another ball game, isn't it? That's why the people in Italy are like, slow down.
Yes, yeah, they
siesta.
Absolutely. I remember Eunice taking me to Rome in the middle of July, when most people in Rome have gone off to the mountains, haven't they? There's like mass exodus in summer of people from Rome to the
it gets really, really hot in there.
Open top bus, and it's like 30 degrees.
Oh yeah.
Not good. Anyway, hopefully it won't be too late tomorrow that we'll get the decision from the Court of Appeals. Yes, it would be great to get you to come back and have another wee chat about it.
Right.
And possibly a couple of beers, because I feel that we might be celebrating a bit of a historical moment.
Yeah, that's a deal. I'll get the beers in the house, just get the good spirits in.
Yes, absolutely. No, I mean,
let's just hope that, like what we said before, that it's a good present for Dr. Pepper's Day.
Exactly. Yeah, which is coming up on August the 1st.
Yeah.
Our Dr. Pepper Day. Yes.
However, I also want to think that Dolores is having her hand in this one.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I was looking through rally photos from 2019, and I've got one of her, outside the courtroom in a wheelchair, wrapped up warm, you know. But I mean, that lady went through so much, you know, to to make a difference. And I just can't help thinking that, you know, as far as Dolores is concerned, she's like, what's Gladiator's name again? Meridius Dominus Maximus, I think it's some Meridius Decimus Maximus, I think is Gladiator's name, and he says to Yak and Phoenix, you know, this is who I am, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think she's beginning to extract her vengeance. Anyway, I'm going to say cheerio. Many thanks for popping on and joining us. I'll schedule this for later on this afternoon, so that people in Wisconsin can see it, sort of, you know.
Yeah.
Because most of them will be fast asleep still. We're coming up for midday, although Pete Dassey will have already left for work. he's a workhorse, he is. And of course, he celebrated his birthday on Friday.
Right.
So looking forward to having a chat with him, although I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a chat with him this coming weekend, because I think he's going camping apparently, but we must have a chat with him soon, because as I say, things hopefully I can't see it being anything other than, you know, this is going to be historic tomorrow. It was as regards this case.
Fingers crossed.
Glass half full.
Yes, exactly. Going for it. Let's hope that Wisconsin shows some humanity and justice.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cheers. And we'll catch you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.